Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Carl from Planet 40k. Today we're going to be discussing one of the new units that should be coming out alongside the new codex, the Canoptek Doomstalker. Okay, so the Canoptek Doomstalker will be coming in at 7 power level or 130 points for the model. It's obviously got the Canoptek keyword, which most likely will assist you with those Canoptek stratagems once we know exactly what they are. And like the Canoptek Reanimator, he is a monster, and it will most likely be coming in the same kit as the Reanimator once they start releasing the separate models. Okay, the stats are as follows: movement 10, weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 4+, strength 6, toughness 6, wounds 12, attacks 3, leadership 10 and a 3+ save. All these stats are when he's got 7 or more wounds remaining. I'll display on the screen what the datasheet looks like once he's been damaged between 4 and 6 wounds, and another one for when he's damaged for 3 wounds or less. So he's got slightly better stats than the Reanimator has in terms of strength and toughness, as there are 6 rather than 5. And he's got twice as many wounds, but he does have 1 less attack. There's something to note here: the Doomstalker has no living metal, but with the 12 wounds he should be fine. And he has an ability called the Containment Field, which is a 5+ invuln save. So it's really nice as he basically shrugs off a third of the wounds that he takes before damage. Okay, so moving on to the war gear side of things. He's got a Doomsday Blaster and a Twin Gorse Flare. So firstly the Doomsday Blaster. So this is a weapon that can be fired in 2 different modes, similar to the Doomsday Arc. So you can fire it on low power at 24 inch, heavy D6, strength 8, -2 AP and D3 damage. Or it could be fired on higher power with a 48 inch range, heavy D6, strength 10, -5 AP and D6 damage. You can only fire the high powered version if you remain stationary during the turn. So this weapon virtually has the same stats as the Doomsday Cannon on the Doomsday Arc, except that the Arc fires at a further range, with the low powered version going at 36 inches and the high powered going at 72 inches. Also with the Doomsday Cannon on the Arc, the low powered version is a blast weapon, whereas on the Canoptek Doomstalker it isn't. So using the weapon on the Doomstalker, the low powered mode is still very good. It's got a magic strength 8 which will wound toughness 7 vehicles on a 3+, and double down on your standard toughness 4 infantry models where you only need 2s to wound. The AP modifier of -2 and D3 damage is pretty decent, and this will chew through most Primaris Marines. As for the high powered version, you need to remain stationary in order to use this, so if you do, it's strength 10 -5 AP and D6 damage, so this weapon will be taking out anything. Models with an invuln save might be able to dodge a few of these wounds, but if you've got lots of hits on a character with an invuln, they'll be extremely lucky to dodge all of it. Or you just target your opponent's heavy artillery in their backlines, as they most likely won't be having an invuln save to protect them, and that -5 AP won't be giving them any chance of a save. Okay, it hasn't got the 72 inch range like the Arc has, but 48 inch is still solid and will virtually cover the entirety of the board, whether you're playing patrol or incursion. The other piece of weaponry that it carries is a Twin Gorse Flare, pretty much the same guns as the Necron warriors, except it's rapid fire 2. So it's a neat little extra for you to get rid of those pesky units that have tagged you and they're trying to disable your main guns by being in combat with you. It's also a good little screen clearer for those 5-man deep strike units that are blocking up the board or holding an objective. Don't rely too much on these guns though, as they won't be doing too much, but it's a nice little extra to have. In terms of what dynasties could be useful for this unit, so the Mephit Dynasty code gives you +3 inches to your range weapons. It also gives you a -1 AP if you're within half range and you're shooting. The low powered part of the blast will be firing at 27 inches, and if you're within half of that it'll be going up to -3 AP. The high powered version of the blaster will go up to 51 inches, and if you're at half range it'll be -6 AP, which is a bit overkill really. The Gorse Flares will go up to 27 inches, and at half range will be -2 AP, and obviously they're a rapid fire gun, so that's decent as well. And the Sparkan Dynasty gives a 5+ Vilna pain against mortal wounds, but more importantly, each time a unit shoots or fights you get to re-roll 1 of your wound roll dice, so that can be handy there. The last dynasty of note here is the Canoptek Dynasty, which is not that important, but it gives you the re-roll morale, which you don't really need that part. But the Gorse Flares get a rapid fire of 18 inches rather than the standard 12. And that might not be much of a big deal, but maybe most of your army is warrior heavy. If you're buffing all them and you've got a Doomstalker in your list, then it's going to help that as well. So when you're doing a summary of this unit, you've got to consider the Doomsday Arc. You've got to look at that comparison really. And for it's 50 points difference, so the Doomsday Arc is 180, whereas the Canoptek Doomstalker is 130. The max range of the Arc is 72 inches as opposed to 48 with the Doomstalker. The Doomsday Arc's ballistic skill is 3+, but it does degrade as it gets damage over the game, whereas the Canoptek Doomstalker's ballistic skill is a 4+, and it stays that throughout the game, regardless of its damage. When you max out the secondary weapon with the Gorse weapons, it's you'll be getting 20 strength 4 shots with the Arc at -1 AP, whereas the Doomstalker is only going to be getting 4 strength 4 shots. So there's quite a bit of a difference there. As for resiliency, the Doomsday Arc has quantum shielding. It has a 4+ save, 14 wounds, and live in metal, whereas the Doomstalker has a 5+ invuln, a 3+ save, 12 wounds, and it does not have live in metal. So some pros and cons for both there. Quantum shielding, if you currently don't know what it is, so when you take damage on your vehicle, let's say for example you take 4 damage, you get to roll a d6, and if you roll less than that 4, so you roll a 3 or less, you literally ignore all that damage. So that's really useful, as it means big damage weapons are less likely to be hurting it. Bear in mind that this may change when the codex does come out, so I'm only going off what it currently is. The same thing applies to live in metal, which is where you regain a lost wound at the start of your turn. Again, this may change. Speaking of the quantum shielding, I'll just quickly add in an extra note here. There's a stratagem called Quantum Reflection. For 1 CP, you can use this in your opponent's shooting phase. When they target your, say for example, your Doomsday Arc, you can -1 to your Quantum Shield roll, so you've got more chance of ignoring damage. So something else that the Doomstalker can't be using, because it doesn't have the Quantum Shielding ability. So going back to this table, other key notes here, the Doomsday Arc is a vehicle. As we already said, the ballistic skill degrades, and it's got fly, so it's free to roam around the board. It can go over terrain, go over other models. Obviously it's been nerfed now, it can't come out of combat and fire anymore like it used to, but it's still got that bit of flexibility with the movement. The Doomstalker doesn't have fly. It has monster though, and as I've already mentioned, the ballistic skill stays at 4+. So overall, I do like the Doomstalker unit. It's got a lot of pros to choosing one of these over the Arc. Maybe if you're short of points and you need to raise 50 points for another part of your list, so it's a valid substitution to make, as you're pretty much keeping the same main gun. I think I'd prefer the Arc just for the resiliency. Without knowing what the new codex rules are going to be, it's quite hard to say in a preview what the better option would be. But that's the key word right there, option. It's giving you an option within your army selection so that you can do other things. Another side note to mention here, in the more larger games, for the same cost of 2 Doomsday Arc, which would be 360 points, you can get 3 Stalkers for 390 points. So for only 30 points more, you can have 3 of the Canoptek Doomstalkers. Okay, you're losing out on a lot of Gorse weapons, but you're really getting them for the main big weapons, the big blasters, so you can have 3 for 2 there. Something to think about. Overall, I think I'm going to be giving them a Planet 40k rating of 4 out of 5. I feel like the Doomsday Arcs are one of the army's better units, and it's been heavily linked to it, it's been heavily compared to it. So yes, it does have less light weaponry in the Gauss weapons, but remember it's 50 points less. It's a valid option here. So let me know guys in the comments below whether you agree or not with this rating and review. We love hearing your comments, and we try to respond to virtually every comment at the moment. Please drop us a like below if you did enjoy the video. Remember to subscribe for future videos like this, as we will be doing a deep dive into all the units once the codex does get released. We'll be going through all the stratagems, all the Dynasty codes, the Warlord traits, you name it, we'll be going through it. There should be some tier list videos in there along the way as well, if you enjoy those. We have been doing a couple of these already. We recently did the Locust Destroyer, so if you've not seen that one, go check it out. It should be in one of our playlists, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.